Take a look at that. Triss on the front cover of Playboy magazine. So when Melanie Mack is saying, oh, they never took Lara Croft and tastefully made her nudish on the front cover of Loaded or FHM, well, CD Projekt Red, back in the day, had no problem with Triss being on the front cover of that once great magazine for men of culture, and maybe some women too.
Previously on Kung Fu Hot Dog.
Who are you? And what have you done with Ciri from Witcher 3?
The following program contains naughty bits.
Bums, boobs, and legs. Because if you find the image of a very attractive woman offensive, then perhaps you shouldn't watch this video. But then here's another reaction from a used to be based man on YouTube, Angry Joe, attacking you, the gamer, because you don't like the fact that Ciri is now the female Witcher in Witcher 4, even though she can't be technically a Witcher because she's a female. Watch this reaction. It is absolutely getting destroyed in the comments below.
Here comes all the woke feminism criticism. I don't know why we have those people in our chat. Go to a different stream, please.
And this is so pathetic from Joe, because if you know the history of Joe's videos on YouTube, the guy was based as hell. He used to be so inappropriate, but now it's kind, more nurturing Joe, who is like the Axeman. They want their access. And I'll tell you the reason why Joe is sticking up for Witcher 4 and the new direction it's taken. When you see and when you hear what I've got to say, you'll completely understand why. But funny enough, Alex, his compadre right there in the background with the moustache, he actually points out during the video, well, how can Ciri be a Witcher because she hasn't gone through the trials? And Joe's like, yeah, wow. Joe, I think he and Joe don't really see eye to eye on many takes. And the thing I hate about Joe is always interrupting Alex when he's got a good take to make, and it's like, no, this is my YouTube channel. But someone invaded the chat and said, Joe, this game is going to be dog shit.
Fucking pathetic.
And Joe, you're really fat, dude, and need to lose some weight. You see, he's got a woman now, so obviously she's keeping him fed, and then he's gonna explode one day like the Blob. Puerto Rican Blob.
Furthermore, if all those woke grifters suddenly turn on a company like CD Projekt Red over something as stupid as having a female.
Yes, to remind you again, folks, the same CD Projekt Red, who now have initiative programs for chicks to be part of the programming encoders or video games, because men are not allowed to be in that process anymore.
Male protagonist Ciri take over the series, then that's when you know that they are frauds and they have crossed over into parody territory. They've revealed themselves. Their masks are off.
He's fearless, careless, a little too careless.
Now, you might recall from my video yesterday where I briefly talked about The Witcher 4 from CD Projekt Red. It was a 6-minute cinematic. It was showcasing Unreal Engine 5, and I said it looked pretty good. What I didn't talk about was the actual appearance of Ciri, because I was numb. I was a bit shell-shocked, if I have to be honest. I thought, what has happened to my lady here? I mean, she looked pretty ravaged. Now, I know what the excuse is going to be from CD Projekt Red. It's going to be, well, it's been a few years after the events of Witcher 3 and she's gotten older with time. She's gone a bit more craggy-faced, but as people like Endymion has pointed out, well, this is actually the DEI that CDPR has fully embraced. And I've got to agree. I mean, she's been given the Horizon Forbidden West treatment. I'm surprised that Ciri, in the time gap in between Witcher 3 and this new iteration, hasn't piled on the pounds. And again, Ciri's not known for being a sort of scantily dressed character as such. She's quite tastefully covered up, which is pretty cool in that respect. And look, there's an AI image going around of her doing the rounds at the moment on social media.
Especially if you're complaining about, Ciri is not beautiful enough. She's totally ugly now. Accusations of ugly.
But this is the same Joe, by the way, who hated The Last of Us Part 2, actually threw his controller down during a stream and walked out. See, had a problem with Abby Johnson, the trans character that nobody liked, but apparently when it comes to the uglification of Ciri for The Witcher 4, he's got a problem with it. Again, Joe is one of these people, he likes the trans stuff, he supports it, which is ridiculous.
Girl boss, woke, and all these stupid terms that these people fucking parrot. Just say you don't like women.
Yet he's taken the time out to actually go through the posts on Twitter, which I find very funny.
And you're fucking scared of women, you basement dwellers.
Yeah, we're
Like
all
I said,
basement dwellers, Joe.
fucking
Yeah.
pathetic. And this kind of shit needs to stop. It's out of control at this point. So many people just parrot other people's drama farming point.
The Chad.
And it's just dumb as fuck. And I hate to see it happen to an otherwise amazing franchise that wants to continue the story of some excellent characters. So,
Man, I like this rendition right here. God damn, man, if we had her in the game, or even one of my AI renditions, that would be fantastic. I'm going to go over and check that out. The reason why Joe is saying, well, I applaud this new direction CDPR are taking, because he has close access to them. When Witcher 3 dropped back in the day, 2014, 2015, the producers, the dev team in Poland flew Joe out there. They flew him out so you can spend time with them and play the game and take part in some Polish festivities. So ladies and gentlemen, without craning my neck in absolute lust and glory over my AI creations from last night, I thought I would give it a very quick go with a fast prompt, and it did a very good job actually. It got the scar on her left cheek, and when I say that, I mean her facial one, you naughty people, you. This one wasn't too bad, very perky in that area because I guess I did instruct the prompt to give her a bit of boobage, but still looks like Ciri. And as we carry on, this one was okay. She looks a bit, well, she's a bit more curvier. Again, might have been my instruction, but you can see the sword looking mighty fine. And speaking of which, this is pretty good. I mean, if Disney in their heyday made a Witcher character, or should I say, yep, a character from that series of games, she might look a bit something like this. Oh. Oof, just getting a little bit hot under the collar. And I must say, this is probably my second best rendition of Ciri, and one that needs a closer private inspection. Because remember, folks, that's what us gooners like to do with beautiful women who are created in the eyes of our vision. Don't you agree? Yes? Yes? This is the version or something similar we should have had in the next Witcher game coming up. And yes, I'm not familiar with the lore, but as everybody has established already, including the author himself, Andrzej Sapkowski, of the Witcher novels, which the video games are based on, that females cannot become witches because they're not genetically built like men who can handle all the non-stop magical powers that they can get and use to their own strength and abilities to slay down huge monsters, right? None of that. So you're probably wondering, like, Jace, what's this got to do with today's video? Well, it kind of has a lot to do with it, really, in some respects, because again, I'm focusing on the attractiveness or the lack of thereof with Ciri in that trailer. But it went on for 6 minutes and we hardly saw any gameplay, or from what I remember, there was no gameplay whatsoever. Before I get back to my main point, I mean, Fratinger just released this hilarious meme of Neil Cuckman rogering Jordan, played by a transgender actress, by the way. I thought it was Laura Bailey or somebody like that, but no, the actual bald coot down here is played by a very unhinged individual.
And then as far as with non-binary and transgender, I hope that we just start seeing that the future is here whether we like it or not. We need to not just accept it, but embrace it.
How about you just
Fuck off.
just do that and we can all get along? Now, just for further clarification, ladies and gentlemen, this actress's name is Tati, or as I prefer to call her, Titty Gabrielle. She played the very forgettable character of Joe Braddock in the very forgettable Uncharted movie from 2022. And if you're wondering how she got picked for the role as Jordan in Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet, well, blame Neil Druckmann. He was on the set of the movie for Uncharted, sniffing out talent. And above, Cabrutus has posted the lovely E from Stellar Blade next to the androgynous crone on the right side. I mean, who would you rather buy a few round of drinks for and leave the other one to pay the bill? I know what I want to do. But as we keep scrolling on up, folks, I mean, it seems that people are just getting into a bit of a shit fit about acceptable images of biological women in video games because according to people like Melanie Mack, if you like to goon over that stuff, it just makes you a very bad person. Now, I just want to switch back here very quickly, folks, and tell you something. So earlier in the year, I mentioned to you that my appearance, my likeness, even my voice was going to be in an Eastern European video game. And while I was actually quite enthusiastic at the time, I mean, the developer reached out to me and we had a very good chat. He's a very nice guy, he absolutely is. And I don't want to say bad things about him, but there was a part in the game that he showed me and I thought, I don't know if I could be associated with that particular thing. It's a pretty far out sense of humor, if you like that sort of thing. And I just thought, you know what, maybe this is probably not what I want to be really involved with. I'll tell you what, if someone like Sega reached out to me or Capcom and said, oh, we're big fans of yours, Kung Fu, can we use your image and get you in to do a few things for Street Fighter or whatever, or Resident Evil, that would be a dream come true. I would absolutely lap that up in a second. I'll say to my mum, look, I'm off to Japan now, mum, for a couple of weeks, but I'll see you in that time. And man, but it's only a pipe dream. It's never going to happen. But you know, that would be my one desire. It'd be so awesome if that. But if it can happen to Yong Ye, then it can happen to anybody, right? I mean, even Jacksepticeye is in a new movie as well, which I found very odd. Like, why? Or a video game?
Well, I don't know what you're looking at, ladies and gentlemen, but for me, this is just a normal day.
But when you consider the Bible, ladies and gentlemen, the catalyst of all things sex and violence, I mean, do we have a problem with the telling of Sodom and Gomorrah? Yes, you probably will, considering if you know what that's all about, right? But when it comes to decapitations and everything else in the Bible, oh, that's just no. We just gloss all over it, folks. It's not a problem at all. So I don't understand why there's such an unhinged disparity between violence and sex. I mean, when Janet Jackson's boob accidentally popped out in the 2004 Super Bowl when she was on stage with Justin Timberlake, America had a meltdown, whereas in Great Britain, we all thought, wow, Janet still got it. So I don't understand that. But again, Americans can happily sit down on a sofa or on a couch and watch the Benny Hill show and see lots of sexy, writhing, scantily clad women just dancing for your very motions in a few awesome, naughty gyrations for about a couple of minutes or less. And they don't have anything to say about that. So again, when it comes back to video games and the depiction of attractive women, this is what I'm going to say, right? And again, I've heard people like Smash JT said it and Kyle, but why we have to advocate for attractive women in video games, and yes, they can be sexy, which is why I envy people in South Korea and Japan and China as well to a degree, because they can appreciate all of these things and they won't get any ridicule for it. But in Great Britain or America, if you even dare to look at something with a scantily clad woman on it, oh no, you are a disciple of the devil, you're a reject, you must be cast out of here. But ladies and gentlemen, I digress. Can you imagine being a normie, which many people are? You go to your local GameStop or whatever, pick up your favorite title you've been waiting to see because you've heard so many good things about it. You get on home, you put the game in your favorite console, only to turn on the screen, and after the pronouns, you get this monstrosity staring you in the face. And then it gets even more concerning, folks, because if we got a character like Jordan from Prophet Intergalactic Heretic, yes, I've deliberately mishmashed those words around because I get fed up of saying the title, that character, that androgynous looking man blob of a character, will be the mascot for PlayStation 5 and 6 going forward. And do you think anyone's gonna give two shits about that? No. Are we gonna get excited anymore? No. No Jak and Daxter, no Crash Bandicoot, no Nathan Drake from Uncharted. It's gonna be this thing right here. Oh, we're just men of culture. We just love to lust over attractive women in video games and get our kicks off. And that's not true. That is definitely, I mean, there might be a section of the audience that does that, but I'm a guy who's grown up as a man of culture, appreciating beautiful women in entertainment, which is why I posted on this Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet nonsense yesterday to Naughty Dog themselves saying, nah, bruh, I just prefer actual women in my video games. So Melanie Mack, a staunch conservative Christian who's a big Lara Croft fan, I mean, he's everywhere in the social media, and the woman's got good taste. But when it comes to her takes, some of them can go a little bit off the beaten path. So her denial about Lara Croft ever being on the front cover of Playboy or FHM or Loaded magazine was soon put down in a single fell swoop right here from Digital Alucard. You are retarded, Melanie. Lara Croft either appeared in very suggestive material in the likes of Maxim, FHM, and Loaded, but also had artistic renditions and cosplays by models on Playboy, all of which were approved for marketing by both the original devs and publishers. Lara Croft having all of this sexy and almost nude inserts in adult magazine is well known and part of the devs' marketing strategy because she is a sex symbol. Rona Mitra cosplayed her as the first woman to do so, I believe, and she was amazing. I still don't know why they didn't give her the actual film after Angelina Jolie left the series. I think she would have been a great replacement, but here you go. I remember this cover, Duke Nukem holding up the censored banner across Lara's chest. I think it's hilarious, and her rendition is actually fantastic. So it seems that Melanie Mack wants to almost gatekeep Lara Croft. Oh, she can never be nude or partially nude for a magazine cover, for a lad's mag. Again, that was part of the look. Back in the 90s when Lara Croft was the big gaming icon in video games, lots of guys, including me, would just found the whole big boob, pixelated boobs very funny, actually. It wasn't like, oh my gosh, we got to get our kecks out. And I love this Loaded cover right here. I think it's top dollar, whoever created that cover. It's amazing. That's really, really awesome. I do like that. And we need to just preserve, folks, the biological woman in a video game, in entertainment, across entertainment. That trailer for Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet, is just the most awful thing I've seen. I'm even having some online discourse at the moment on Twitter. Where else would it be? From people who don't like my takes about Colt Eastwood loving the reaction of the game. And look, he's entitled to like what he wants to, but I disagree. It's a 4-minute and 30-odd second trailer, women gabbling on, talk. Where's the actual fucking gameplay? And when we see it, it's like a brief moment. And the product placement, Sony, Adidas, Porsche, what's that got to do with a video game? I just want to play a video game where I'm not reminded about branding or anything from the real world. And the fact that the game actually interjects a very androgynous ambiguity looking, genderized, male, female, whatever she is. I heard people were watching this on the live stream for the Game of the Year awards and they just burst out laughing, or they knew what was on the horizon. And this is it, folks, and it just looks absolutely terrible, and it will sink Naughty Dog. Nobody will buy this game, and if they do, they'll probably refund it en masse. There's probably hidden messaging. I'm going to guarantee you now that that particular game will actually have pronouns. The option will be there. It will force you to adopt the pronoun, which will make no sense to me whatsoever for a video game. You remember when video games used to be really good, folks? You used to look forward to buying them. You didn't have to worry about putting this game into your favorite console, and you weren't worried about any weird messaging coming up. It was just about, I want to dive in here. And I'm just curious to see what the first thing is I'm going to see on the load up screen.
Here comes Bot.
Huh? So Pirate Nation is the gentleman who kick-started this debate last week by posting a meme, not of this one here of the lovely Luna Snow, the K-pop star in Marvel Rivals, the surprise titty hitty of last week, as redesigned by NetEase from China. They took the Western Marvel characters and gave them a glorious coat of skins that we can't get enough of. We can't stop drooling and dribbling all over, but apparently just my thoughts alone will set off the Christianity candles everywhere around the world. Kung Fu, how can you lust and not loathe these images? But I'm sorry, it's for the eyes to see, and I tell you what, this is what they're doing in China. China, a country I've always criticized a lot here on my channel, but when they get to do stuff like this and they do it right, I can't really be in a position, unless it's a 69, to even compare. Damn. I mean, damn, that's Haley? Oh, good grief. So apparently if you're a Christian and a conservative, you will find the sight of Haley from the First Descendant in a rump-wearing pair of jeans so tight you'll need a can opener to prise them open after a hard day's slog on that multiplayer arena they call video games. Then I'm sorry, folks. You'll have to lend me a can opener and I can do the job myself. Ciri looks like this because it's The Witcher, right? Yes, you age eventually, don't you? But man, CD Projekt Red, you just know where this is going. You really do. And that's why I'm looking at Asian gaming. That's why, again, folks, back in the day, I've got to point this out as well, right? I've got to point this out. Back in the 90s, I used to hang out with a friend of mine on the same street as me. In fact, he lived opposite me, which is not creepy at all. And we would get together and talk about pop culture stuff. And he would always bring up anime to me. Like, dude, you gotta watch anime. You gotta watch Fist of the North Star, Crying Freeman, all these things, because this is the future of entertainment. Everything in the West is all garbage. And I never believed him. And again, you know, because I was an 80s kid, and he was, but I don't think he really watched a lot of stuff that came out of the 80s. I don't know. I'm not in contact with the guy anymore. But it's kind of funny that he told me this back in the 90s in the West, in England. And everybody now, in fact, I would say in the last 10 years maybe, people have been switching gears and watching other alternative entertainment out there. And I'm sorry, but I've got to say it again. I'm a man of culture. I love attractive women in my entertainment because it's what I've been used to all my life and it's great. And I've got a lot of entertainment here in my household. Video games and obviously movies as such that I've bought them for different reasons, but if it happens to have an attractive woman or a lead actress in the show like Farscape, Claudia Black, for example, she was hot back then, man. Don't even get me started on her appearance in, oh my God, what's the film again? Pitch Black with Vin Diesel when he was lean, mean, and a fast-talking machine, just like yours truly. And on that one, ladies and gentlemen, if you were me and if I were you, you should perhaps return for the next video.